Oh, recording in progress. There we go. Okay. Excuse my roommate's clothes. He doesn't know how to use a dryer. So this is my presentation on goldenrods and their attraction to their little golden buddies, those bumblebees, those Bombus affinis out there on the UMass campus. So to introduce this project, I should say that three-quarters of the world's flowering plants rely on pollination to reproduce. It's kind of a big deal. And native bees are estimated to pollinate about 80% of those flowering plants. So these native bees are very important. These European honeybees that we're shipping in, not quite as important. Good for money, but and food, but if we're talking about ecology, these bumblebees are where it's at. Um, there are an estimated 4,000 species of native bee in North America, and that's quite a few. 400 of which are native to Massachusetts. But only 7 species of bumblebees in Massachusetts. So the population, or I'm not really sure what the word would be. This is just a draft, so I'd love to hear some feedback, like not the population, but the diversity is going down. Um, and goldenrod, I see goldenrod all over UMass, so I figured there could be a correlation between the amount of goldenrod in an area and the amount of bees that inhabit it, bumblebees. So we surveyed different areas for each of those variables and tried to find a little correlation, hence the research question. Does bumblebee abundance have a significant relationship to goldenrod abundance? Oh, there we go. So our methods include, as such, the locations were the campus pond and the Renaissance Center. And and there's another and there. I gotta fix that. So only 2 locations, which is hinting at our or my problem later in the presentation when we're talking about statistic correlation. I'm going to get into the technique in the next slide. The variables, however, were simply the percent of goldenrod compared to grasses and other flowering plants observed in your transect and the counted bumblebee specimens, which was sort of an estimate. Okay, but the methods here, the technique. So our technique included different teams that went to these locations and did some observations. So the teams were allocated to different starting locations by the pond or at the Renaissance Center. Team members were then given variables to observe, in this case, the goldenrod percent and bumblebee count. We then surveyed in a 5-meter circle and then moved to the next transect 25 meters down and repeated until we were out of time. Now, this is another note, another draft note. In a presentation, I know results aren't supposed to be interpreted, but in a presentation, what am I supposed to do? Just put this on the screen and then put this on the screen? I don't know. Let me know. I gotta fix that too. I do that. Because here's my discussion, and I'm gonna go back to the graphs because that's the only way I can think of describing them. So I would say that my results give that there is no statistical relationship between goldenrod abundance and bumblebees observed. Because as we can see here on the graph, the average number of bumblebees is pretty inconsistent with the percent of goldenrod abundance. You can come in, Quinlan. This is a draft.
Oh,
The Central Campus Pond Edge, as a matter of fact, had the most bumblebees, but actually very little goldenrod. In comparison to the Renaissance Meadow, a whole lot of goldenrod, over half goldenrod compared to other flowering plants and grasses, but very few bees. I really wouldn't say that there's a correlation. Now, theoretically, due to literature, I would say that goldenrod would attract bumblebees, as it's one of the few flowering plants late in the season. We did these observations in the September and October months, which is late in the season of flowering plants after summer, but before winter, and or after summer, but before fall. So I would have thought that bees would be all over this goldenrod. The limitations were likely the number of locations we surveyed. Given that there were only two locations, um, it's just pretty hard to come to a conclusion in such little data. And these are my ref. I gotta do that too.